Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It was another game, another Liverpool game and another Liverpool defeat at Anfield. The time when Liverpool were absolutely unbeatable at home seems a very dim and distant memory right now. Liverpool 0, Chelsea 1, Mason Mount's goal being the thing that separated the teams, but really was it? No, it was endeavour, creativity, chances, shots, all the important metrics of the football match were with Chelsea on the night. They looked the fitter, they looked the fresher, they looked the most likely, and that's just unfortunately the truth of the matter. And as ever, I find myself sat here. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for what it was. I think we've got to look at games in isolation at this point, and for whatever, Liverpool have got lots and lots of ongoing issues with with a variety of injuries, and now players kind of coming back and not being at full sharpness, but I don't think it excuses what we've done. Liverpool have made mistakes. They've made mistakes in terms of how they approach the game. Too many sloppy passes, too many mistakes in important areas of the field. And that's the players on the pitch, and then the management as well. Just what looked like now, and this might change when we see how Liverpool line up in the coming games, because I don't think Liverpool manage substitutions for what in game on game. I think they do them with the next game in mind. Baffling. Absolutely baffling substitutions. Mohamed Salah, the only one of our front three who looked like he was absolutely up for it and on it for this game, gets taken off, and sadly the lads who came on just weren't able to offer anything different. Let me know your reactions to it now. I'm going to read through some of your a member here on YouTube live at any tier, so that's first teamer, wonder kid or cult hero. Then you can get your comments in here. Just put my name first, put Mate, and I'll know you're talking to me, and I'll read some of the best ones out. Welcome to Dean, to Lewis Bryant, and to Mr. Williams, who've just joined on board there as members. I'll get to you guys in a moment, and yeah, obviously we'll do some Twitter and then we'll come back. So if you haven't had your comment read out yet, don't worry, you've got plenty of time to get them live read out here on YouTube as well. Damien Lobb said nothing up front again. One shot on target was in the 85th minute. Chelsea were the better side, but we just looked awful yet again. And that's it. Liverpool are, for all of our talk of defensive issues and what have you, there's still talent on that pitch. Once we get the ball out of defence, you can't tell me that it's the defence's problem. Once the ball's in the midfield, we still use the fullbacks to attack. We still got quality in the midfield. We still got quality in the front three. But it's Mane for me at this point. I mean, everyone goes on about Bobby Firmino, but Mane should be, he should be on 12, 13, 14 maybe goals by this point of the season. And he's absolutely miles off, and yeah, bit of a strange one. Brian Gloss, it really hurts to say this, but I have no confidence for Fulham on Sunday. Yeah, Charles Joseph following up the comment there from earlier. One lame header on target in 90 minutes. My God, our problem is not in defence. Our attack is simply not scoring, and the sad part is we don't look like scoring. Yeah, that's it. And again, part of me understands the Oxlade-Chamberlain substitution in some regards, because he is by his nature a lad who will take a shot on. But he feels to me like a lad who's not coming in like I'm coming back into my space in the team. He feels like a lad who's coming. It's like he reminds me of bringing on like an 18-year-old lad who's just trying to make his way at this level. No, he should be coming in and grasping every moment on that pitch with both hands. And I don't get enough of that from Oxlade-Chamberlain. I feel like he's just playing a little safe plus rusty. Is not doing him any favours at the moment. Pov saying, mate, slow. So incredibly slow. That's a nice rhythm to it, if nothing else. Everything about it was infuriating. Mane suddenly forgets how to play football. Salah sub never looked like scoring. Why Fab and Trent have just let Mount have a free pop on goal. Just can't be arsed, mate. I know it's tough, isn't it? It is very, very... Look, they've got the table up as I'm doing this now. Seventh. And if Liverpool don't put their eyes up, it's been mentioned a few times, we'll be lucky to get in the Europa League. Scott Hawks, mate, Genie is terrible in the 6. The ref was shit, yada, yada, yada. Fact is, the same front three of last season scored 3 against an okay, not great Chelsea. Ox should be embarrassed. Charles Joseph, I just pray this virus eases and we have fans back next season. It's pathetic how bad we are playing. Almost like players lack some sort of motivation. But this is the point, is that there's no fans for everyone. I get it. I get we're better with fans. But not having fans is not a fucking excuse. These are world-class footballers for the most part. We've still got lots of them in that side. And I get there's loads of other... And I don't want to yada away all of the contributing factors and what have you. You know, it's another new defensive partnership for Liverpool, which is another point that's worth making. So I can understand Chelsea having chances. I can understand Chelsea causing us problems. But the lack of problems that we cause Chelsea, and again, it has to fall down to the attacking players, not at the level required at the moment for a whole host of reasons, and I think that's, you know, a lot of that is accumulated fatigue. They've all played too much footy. Getting Jota back will help in the coming weeks, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's not helping now, so it's hard to put any faith or stock in that, really, isn't it? Brian again here saying, mate, I think we need to start Fabinho midfield and trust Kabak with Phillips, or even give Davies a shot. If he's fit, and he's not a myth, then yeah, I'd be bang up for trying that. I do feel a bit sorry for Neffels, apparently injured. I don't think would you have started Reece Williams in this game, because he was the only one on the bench, which says he was the option. Would you have gone with Kabak and Reece Williams? And that, for me, at this game, and I said this in the build-up show, has anyone got the bottle to play Fabinho in midfield? I'd have liked to have seen it, but I wouldn't have had the bottle to do anything but Fabinho at centre-half for this game. But I agree, you know, with Fulham, Wolves, and there's hopefully, you know, games that we should be able to try these things. I would be going with Nat Phillips and Kabak. And if Davies is fit, I would try Davies and Kabak if it means we can get Fabinho back in midfield without a shadow of a doubt. Tristan Bauer with the super chat. Thank you so much, Tristan, for that. Kills me, a manager we love is now part of records we hate. This decline is shocking. The drop off is more than just injuries. Who can explain this? I agree. It's everything, and that's what makes it so hard. Is if it was just easy, and we keep doing it, we go around the houses, and we'll do the instant match reaction a bit later on, and I will talk about Sadio Mane, and I will talk about Bobby Firmino and the Salah decision, because they're all pertinent things in this. But if it was just as simple as one thing, I think that would make it loads easier, but it's mad. It's incredible just what the drop off has been, really. Christopher Fiddler, thanks for the super chat, mate. Thank you so much for that. Liam Tetley with £5. That's wonderful. Thank you. Oh, so uninspiring. Seemed like no real determination or desire to turn the game around or even get back to the game. Properly frustrating. Klopp says we've literally gone from doubters to believers and back to doubters. I don't even feel confident when I see someone run one-on-one with the keeper. No, and that's what it is. You know, this team needs to go out and show us. It needs to give us things to believe in again, because, you know, there's so much credit in the bank, and this is why we shouldn't be entertaining any of this, like, it's time for the managers to go nonsense, because it is complete nonsense. And I understand that if this was a normal season, and I mean, like, with all the things that you normally get in a season, so you normally have the fans, and you normally get, you know, normal routines and training and pre-season and all those things, then at Liverpool losing 5 games at home, and Liverpool going on this run it's 8 now without a win at Anfield, like, you would be asking questions of the manager. But Jurgen Klopp's got an unshakable amount of stock in the bank, you know, credits in the bank, which we shouldn't forget. And also, you know, a lot of contributing factors, but it doesn't make it any easier, because we turn around to our normal way of analysing football, and we see it, and this is, you know, we normally be getting angry and we'd normally be getting rageful about this, and that's the problem about it. Footy's just become a crap TV programme at the moment, which is the only thing that's getting me through, because I know there's nothing I can do about it, so I have to kind of switch off. But yeah, the doubters to believers to doubters thing is spot on at the moment. That side, whatever side it is, needs to go out and absolutely start putting some shifts in and start putting some wins together, because they run the risk of setting the club back 2 or 3 seasons. And that's not something that the Liverpool can afford at the moment. Jarrell Bennons, thank you so much for joining us, a first teamer. Craig Tebbs with the super chat. Jota looked bright. I was about the only positive. He did more than Bobby has for a while. Mane had a stinker, and Salah looked fuming. Right? Yeah, absolutely, completely on all that, mate. Lewis Merritt, Salah and Jones looked our best players, and yet taken off at 60 minutes, and yet Thiago and Mane were arguably our worst, stay on. Inexcusable. And this is it. I mean, this is the thing, you know, I've seen Liverpool, and I've seen Klopp make these kind of decisions time and time again. And what it does is it tells the squad that we're going to continue with what we're doing. We believe our methods work, and it's a matter of time before it all clicks. We've got to manage the squad. We've got to manage the fitness of the squad. And that's, again, I feel like I'm trying to defend the indefensible here, and maybe that's just it. It's just me trying to understand it, because a decision was made. there had to have been thinking behind that decision. It wasn't, and you can't say it was because Salah and Jones were crap. There's clearly more thought beyond it, and my only thinking is just that they've just decided that's who gets the rest this week, regardless of what happens. And we're going to continue with the continuity. We're not going to throw the plan out the window because of poor results, because of the potential negative knock-on impact that has when you start tearing plans up. The manager doesn't like to do that. It's worked for him so far. It's not working at the moment. Yeah, it is what it is. Right, I'm just going to quickly nip over to Twitter for a few there, and I'll be back to the live comments in a moment. So if you want to get your comments in, if you want to join up as a member to get in there, if you want to send a super chat in, by all means, I'll be back to there in a moment. Stephen Plapped Crackers saying, for the life of me. Tom, have you got this?
No, sorry, mate.
Right, sounds. Hang on, let me try that again. Hello. Stephen saying, yeah, for the life of me, the screen's going to turn back on in a moment. What does Milner and Ox offer anymore? The sub decisions were a shambles, were actually boring to watch. Yeah, I mean, again, I wouldn't say we've been boring to watch in this spell of poor form. It's been okay. I'm clutching. I know. I understand there's a tendency to really turn the screw when you feel really bad immediately after a defeat. So yeah, I'm fine with that, to be honest. I agree the sub decisions were an absolute. They were mad. They were just terrible. They were absolutely terrible. And again, in seasons gone by, I remember of making substitutions where we've brought Lallana on late in the game and gone, what are we doing? And then we've not won that. We've drawn that game, and then he goes in the next game and has a really good match, because you've got to get players up and running. That's where we are with the season. We have to get our squad. We have to get our plates spinning again to have any chance between now and the end of the year. Yeah, we only seem to win games where we just play the same team week in, week out, but then what happens is they get run into the ground and they're fucked, and then the other lads who are meant to come and replace them aren't match sharp, and so we drop off there. So I understand the theory, but the theory isn't leading to the correct execution at the moment. Rome Voice won't criticise any of the regular starters who've given us everything, but players like Ox who sulk and hide on the pitch are a disgrace. Too many deadwoods, 5 straight losses at home then. Love Jurgen, but he got questions to answer. Unacceptable at any top club. I mean, this is the point. We live in a very much a black and white, yes or no, good or evil culture where things have to be analysed in such ways. No problems whatsoever with going, what was Jurgen doing here? Why is he doing this? Ask the questions. We're entitled to say, why have you done that? What was the thinking? Because no man's perfect, but he also is a man who's clearly put thinking into it. So yeah, let's absolutely ask questions, but I don't agree with going over it and being like, we need to ask questions of the manager's position and stuff, which I'm not. I know that Rome's not saying there. Titian, horrible game management from Klopp, taking Salah and Jones off and leaving 2 fucking deadwoods at the front is horrendous. Mane was arguably our worst player on the pitch today. Yeah. I think I find it hard to disagree with the Mane thing, to be honest. And Bobby Di Roberto C52, because why not? There's still no doubt in my mind that we're winning the Champions League. I like that. I can't get on board that train just yet, but it's worth pointing out that the Liverpool side that won it in 2005 were much worse than this and had a ton of injury problems all season as well. Right, let's get back into the comments. Thank you, Chad Lee Fritz, who joins us a first teamer as well. Yes, right, sound. Sabin Iliev saying Mates Jones was absolutely zero. Keita should have played. I thought Jones was okay. Again, not stellar and certainly not one. I disagree with the point about him being one of our best performers on the day. He was okay. He was doing some of the things right, but yeah, Keita again. I can only surmise that there's a plan in place for Keita. He's starting on against Fulham, and they therefore didn't want him anywhere near to be involved in this game for any reason, which is, again, I'm trying to find reasons. If you want to hear those reasons, that's one it could be, but yeah, it is what it is. Scott Hawke saying, honestly, think Mane is so low. Jurgen thought he'd be burying him if he took him off. Only way I can understand taking Salah off. I get the loyalty, but it didn't pay off at all. That's the point about being a top manager, isn't it? You know, when you make big decisions, and when they come off, you look like a genius, and when they don't, they don't. And when you're in that rut, it feels like all of your decisions can be wrong decisions. So yeah, it's a very, very tough situation. Nick Govindan with the super chat saying I might take the weekend off. I normally take losses well, but I'm so tired of seeing the same thing every game. Feels like the system has failed. Yeah, it is tough, isn't it, Nick? Listen, I said this before. in 2004, 2005, it was a time when you couldn't get loads of Liverpool games, and I was living in Sheffield at the time. I was managing a pub, and I was so downbeat with our league form. We were horrendous that season. We couldn't string 2 wins together back to back, and I didn't watch every game. And I'd catch highlights, and sometimes I would. Sometimes I just see, maybe I'd see match of the day at best. But it was hard to stay focused on it. It wasn't the way where you could stream it to your phone, because the internet didn't exist like that back in the day. But I got back into playing football more, because at least I could control what was happening, to feel like I had some semblance of control of my love of football. But it is tough. I have no disrespect to anyone who's struggling with this. Your mental health's got to come first and foremost. In Liverpool, we need them to do that, and that's a hard world to be in, because when you have to put your faith in 11 lads to make you happy, that's not a very healthy situation, unfortunately. Sol, I want to hear from one of Liverpool's data analysts what factors are causing this debacle. It's so hard to find what's going on. Yeah, no, it's tough, isn't it, mate? Fran Darling makes him telling you now, Klopp hooked those players off for another game. Yeah, I agree. That's the reason why those players have come off, is so they're fit to play. There's much in the tank to play Fulham, and then there's much in the tank to play Leipzig again next week. That's why they've done it. Yeah, AS saying, hi Paul, Klopp subbing Salah because he never tracked back. It was reported by Matt Critchley. That is petty. Well, look, if that's the case, then that's not petty. That's a criminal undoing of Liverpool's system, if that is the case. But I'm not sure it's entirely that. But yeah, mad. Adam, until the tactics and system changes, we'll never know if the current squad can do anything different. We're painfully predictable, particularly in the second half. I mean, again, we were doing some good stuff in the first half. We were dragging Chelsea around. A couple of opportunities where we really opened them up, albeit we didn't get shots on, so it kind of feels like I'm making a dead point here. But yeah, Philip Harris, welcome as first teamer. Thank you so much. Abide as well, also first teamer. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for that. Chad Lee Fritz saying here, this is the game that we needed Fab in the 6, because our midfield left the centre backs alone vulnerable. We need that spine of Bobby Fab. Yeah, I agree with that. But equally, it's all well and good saying that. I said this before. Reece Williams is on the bench. For all of you who think that, would you have been happy with a starting centre-back pairing of Kabak and Reece Williams, a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old, playing up against Timo Werner, who gave us a really tough game today? But I agree. Next, in the coming games, no more excuses if we can help it. If we can get if Nat Phillips or Davies are fit, play them with Kabak and play Fabinho in midfield. Lewis Bryant, what's the point of having Cato on the bench if you can't come on in that situation? Yeah, that's a mad one as well, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, well, there you go. Philip Harris, mate, strikers feeding off scraps. Passing is so predictable. I would have taken long balls for the last 10 minutes rather than what I've seen. Yeah, but you'd have said we'd have done that, and we'd have just been watching them head balls out constantly and then going, why are we playing long balls in when they've got two really tall centre halves, eating them all day long. It is what it is. Look, it's crap. It's crap when Liverpool lose. It's crap when Liverpool lose loads of games, and it's even more crap when you can see that the objective is just in sight, but we're making it so hard for ourselves at the moment. Right, listen, you know the one thing that's keeping me going throughout all this? You guys, thank you so much for all your comments. Thank you to all the new members. If you're a first team, you get access to emotes. If you are a wonder kid or a cult hero, then you get one bonus show every week. If you want more from us, the full fat subscriptions are over on the redmentv.com. The club captain and the club legend levels over there give you not just all of our additional Redmen matchday content, post-match reviews, but a whole host of documentary series. We've got a new one starting on Friday, 2 episodes of Cop Chronicles streaming. So if you need to take your mind off Liverpool being crap and think about when Liverpool were boss, then go and watch that series. Kenny Dalglish is the first episode. I would highly recommend it. I was watching that today and it really cheered me up. So yeah, go over to redmentv.com and sign up. But yeah, thank you so much for your super chats. Thank you so much for your memberships. Thank you very much for watching, dropping likes, and the player ratings will follow straight on from this. So do stay tuned and then check back for the instant match reaction. Ta-da.
I don't think there's ever been, and I don't think there ever will be, a bigger figure in Liverpool's history than Kenny Dalglish.
Absolute genius, little scouser from the South End who went on to do magical things for us.
Legend in all aspects of the game. When you're talking about someone like Steve Highway, that's the word.
Graham Souness is the best player I've ever played with in my life.
I think he was a forerunner of the modern footballer, Kevin Keegan. I think he'd fit perfectly in the modern world.
Scoring 2 goals in 2 European Cup finals to lift the trophy twice, you know, it's a brilliant legacy, isn't it?
I'll tell you, we played some good stuff that day, we really did. But, you know, a fantastic relief and, you know, when the final whistle went.
I just did a little jump. Terrible celebration. One of the worst ever. Nobody's ever done it since, by the way. That's the jump.